Alright, this is just going to be a video on one of my favorite games, Endless Sky. This is a space combat and trading game. I think it's pretty fun, and it's completely free. Best of all, it can work on a potato. It's, not much else to say. So, I've got a mod installed, but it doesn't really add anything new other than a few ships and I think a few new star systems. But, I'm just going to try to do this as vanilla as possible. If I see anything interesting, I'll try to do it. I just deleted my save. Wasn't really that far into it. If you want to pause and read all this, you can. It's basically just, hey, you have to take out a loan. It's 434,000 credits. Sign here, and this is where you put your name. Not going to put my real name. I'm going to put, trying to think, Anakin Skywalker. Yeah, that'll work. And now I'm in the shipyard. Now, there's three types of ships. There's the shuttle, the star barge, and the sparrow. Transport, light freighter, interceptor. Basically, this is passenger transport, cargo transport, and just a standard fighter or escort ship. Now, for beginners, I recommend either the shuttle or the star barge, because they're easy sources of income. This one's got a little bit of cargo, but this one has quite a bit of cargo. This one has how many yeah, it's got 20 cargo space. You can carry 20 tons, and it's got 5 bunks, not counting you. This one has 50 cargo space, and it can carry 2 more passengers. I'm going to do a shuttle playthrough, and you get to name the shuttle. I'm going to name it, Walker of the Sky. Alright, I just spent a lot of my credits. Not much else to see here. With Suntrip Edition, you give the shipyard owner your money and take your new ship for a test drive, piloting it out of the shipyard and onto a spare landing pad by the spaceport. Then you get out and look at the ship over a bit more closely. You're busy polishing out a few rust spots with a piece of steel wool when an old man in a greased coveralls walks up. "Nothing quite like buying your first starship," he says. Yeah, it's got a little bit of options. Well, I don't plan on getting too attached to this. He smiles. "I'm sure you will, but there's something nice to having a ship you can pilot all by yourself. Believe me, once you have to start managing crew and paying salaries or keeping track of a whole fleet, you'll miss these days when everything was simple." "You're a captain, you ask?" "Was. Sold off my fleet a few days ago and I already miss it. But it was time. Time for me to retire." His voice trails off, and then his face lights up. "Say, any chance I could hitch a ride with you? Maybe show you the ropes, give you some pointers? I could pay you, of course." "Sure, where are you trying to get to?" Wait, crap. "Well," he says, "I've got a spot reserved in a retirement home, but I don't mind taking a roundabout way to get there. For starters, how about you give me a lift to New Greenland? It's just one jump away from here. I can mark on your lap." "Ooh, how much will you pay me?" "That's kind of a rude question," he says. But I'll pay you 10,000 credits. I guarantee you that's more than any captain ever gets for carrying one passenger for one day." That's really generous, thank you." "Great. My name is James, by the way. Anakin Skywalker, you say." "I'm looking forward to traveling with you, Captain Skywalker," says James. As you're helping him wheel his luggage aboard and showing him his bunk, he says, "Before we take off, you might head over to the trading center and stock up on medical goods. You can sell those for a good profit on New Greenland. Or take a look at the outfitter if you like, but they don't sell much compared to the big manufacturers. This is the planet of New Boston. It's basically just Boston, but a planet. You look in the outfitter, there's a bunch of items you can buy. You can read them yourself if you want. The most important thing you want to buy first is the local map. It gives you the 12 star systems around you. And then I'm going to go to the trading board and do exactly what James had said. Medical. Buy 20 tons of that. I just clicked Control and Shift to buy as much as I could. Then, shipyard, we already saw that. Spaceport. This is just information about the spaceport. If a planet doesn't have a spaceport, you probably won't get fuel. Actually, you won't. Spaceport's a really good tool if you want to find some weird missions, like there's one where you have to transport a dog, and it's an interesting story. This is the bank, where you'll pay your mortgage. I'm going to pay a little extra, 18,000. I usually try to stay above 100,000 though. And then the job board. This is probably the most important screen. It's where you'll get jobs like deliveries, passenger transports, rush deliveries. There's escort missions if you're a fighter, and those bulk deliveries if you've got a bigger ship. But that's all we need to know for now. Depart. Now this is the game. Not much else to do. You click on the map. You see that blue arrow? That's looking at medical. That means you have a mission there, and the mission is Passenger to Green. This old-timer captain offered to ride along with you to New Greenland in the Arcturus system and give you some tips along the way. Blah, blah, blah. There's a lot of stuff. You press J to jump. Now notice, this is your fuel gauge. You only have 4 jumps. Well, I do. If you have the Star Barge, I think it's 3, and this is the energy. You probably won't need to worry about that unless you're a fighter. And then this is the temperature. As you land on New Greenland, James says, congrats. James says, congrats on your first trip through hyperspace. I'm impressed you didn't throw up. Most folks do the first time. Drinking coffee. Including you ask? Yeah. And then spent half an hour in orbit cleaning my cabin while hoping the passengers wouldn't come out of their bunk room and see the mess. Not my proudest moment. Anyway, here's your pay. He hands you 10,000 credits. Then he adds, if you're okay with giving me a lift for a while longer, sell off any of that cargo you bought, then meet me in the spaceport. This is the spaceport tutorial. I'll see if I can rustle up anything interesting. So, you can either depart and just never talk to James again, or if you happen to land on Greenland and accidentally click spaceport, he'll say, hey, where have you been? I haven't done that before. I usually complete the tutorial missions, but then I'm going to sell my cargo. Profit of 88. Not much of a profit. I probably could have done another jump to make it more profit. Roll well. Again, job board. But I'm going to stick with James for a while. You began strolling through the spaceport, walking briskly in order to keep warm and wondering if it might be worth investing in a good winter coat for visiting planets like this one. Eventually, you find James. He has an entire family in tow, a young couple, an elderly woman, and 4 children who range in age from probably about 3 to 4 to 12 or 13. Captain Skywalker, he says. Wonderful to see you again. I was just talking to this family. They've been having trouble finding a single ship that can give them all passage. But I told them that your shuttlecraft has plenty of bunks, at least if the kids double up. They can pay you 40,000 credits to take them to New China, which is just a few jumps away from Earth, and it is a planet worth visiting in its own right. What do you say? You're absolutely sure that your shuttle was not designed to fit 9 people, including yourself, but if they're willing to squeeze into the available 5 bunks, you've got no reason to discourage them. Sure, welcome aboard. James helps the older woman up the steps and into your ship while the younger family carries the luggage. You're going to have quite a full ship for the next few days. Now I'm going to pull up my map, and I don't know anything about Merak, but I have a feeling that clothing might be good, so I'm going to buy 20 tons of clothing. I might sell it for a loss, might sell it for a profit, I don't know. I can't really buy anything, so I'm going to jump here. The game sort of plays itself. You don't have to touch the keyboard all that much other than arrow keys, or you press J to jump, and it jumps to wherever you've mapped out. Now, I think I can do 2 more jumps. Probably hey, that's one of the new starships. Probably recommended for you to buy maps, but I've played this game quite a bit, so I know sort of what's going on. I'd like to have the friendly mode on. Asteroids, I think you can mine them, but I haven't really figured that out before. I think I've done it once, but it's kind of a pain in the butt. Along the journey, you learn that the family you are transporting are named the Hendersons, and that they are moving to New China mostly because they hope the urban setting will be better for their kids than New Greenland, where there were hardly any children at all, and their village had only a few thousand people in it. Hey, that reminds me of my hometown. The grandmother, Olivia, has also been chattering nonstop about how excited she is about being in a world where she can actually go sunbathing. I've gotten much too old for snowshoeing, she says. You say goodbye to them and wish them well, and as agreed, they pay you 40,000 credits. You are already well on your way towards paying down your mortgage. As James leaves the ship, he says, "Again, if you're okay with continuing to give me a ride, just meet me in the spaceport." So, same things before, but I'm going to, yeah, there's a lot more stuff. I think these are modded items. Actually, I know they are. This is also a modded item. That's also modded, I think. I'm not too sure. Not much else that's modded here. I think some hand-to-hand weapons are modded too, but I'm going to buy this map. Oh, mods are completely free too. Pretty easy to install as well. It's like Minecraft. It doesn't take you... Oh, crap, I forgot to sell my cargo. It doesn't take you long to find James in the new China spaceport. He's already got a small group of people with him, a middle-aged couple and a teenage boy. Hi there, Captain Skywalker. Interested in carrying some tourists to Earth? Ooh, Earth. Sure. Great. This is Chuck and Sarah and their son Carl. Let's help them carry their luggage to your ship. As you begin walking back, slightly ahead of them, James whispers to you, Tourists are always a good way to make money. They're on vacation, so they don't mind paying a bit extra. But no point in your cargo space going to waste, so take a look at the job board and see if there are any delivery missions we can run at the same time. And if you want to be a little safer, should we come across any pirates, sell off any guns you might have. What? And if you want to be a little safer, should we come across any pirates, sell off any guns you might have. It might seem counterintuitive, but being unarmed makes you less of a target to pirates if there are others in the system that they could be defending themselves against. Okay, so it's like you see a bunch of riflemen on a wagon, you think they're guarding something, sort of thing. Okay, I don't have any guns. I can fit one gun on it, and I think that's in the description of the shuttle. It's as useless as putting an energy blaster on a shuttle. It's practically useless. Ooh, a profit of 114. Thank you. Then I'm gonna go to the bank and pay a little extra. 40,000. Let's see if there's any deliveries to Earth. No. That's a passenger transport. Rush delivery to Pearl. No. Mill workers, Alpine. No, not really anything towards Earth. It's 2 jumps. Earth, Moon, and Mars. Wait, I'm gonna land back up again. I think I can make a profit. This game is literally only about making money. I think I can sell industrial. So I'm gonna buy some industrial equipment. Very low. Well, I mean, they both sell it for pretty low. It's just these planets are too close to each other to actually make good profit. And if I didn't have such debt, I would probably do the boring trade route method. But I'm not really a shuttle, or I'm not really a cargo container. As he made the final landing descent to the surface of Earth, Chuck and Sarah were staring out the window in rapt attention, pointing out landmarks on the planet's surface. James joins in by telling you all about some of the history of the cities you were flying over. Carl, meanwhile, has spent the entire journey playing a handheld video game, and only glances out the window when the ship shakes from turbulence. As they all grab their luggage and step off your ship to explore humanity's homeworld, he is still immersed in the game. Oh god, that sounds like me when I was a kid. I remember going to a zoo a few states away and just playing on my DS the whole time. As you collect your payment, James pulls the parents aside and says, "Watch out for pickpockets, okay? And take it from an experienced captain. You do not want to be out after dark here. Play it safe and have a great time." After they leave, James shakes his head ruefully. It'll probably be a decade before that kid is old enough to realize what he's missing out on. Waste of money doing a trip like this with a teenage boy. They should have gone to Skymoot and seen the dragons instead. I'm sure that would interest him a lot more than historical museums and ancient cities. Then he picks up his luggage and adds, same deal as before, if you want to keep traveling together, meet me in the spaceport. Alright, well, real quick, I'm going to sell off my cargo. And, oh, yep, there's the modded item, a breech shotgun. Basically a war crime in this game. The spaceport on Earth is so big and crowded that it takes a long time to find James. The sheer number of people here is almost overwhelming. Homeless men wrapped in old army blankets beg money from well-dressed businessmen. Soldiers in Navy uniforms walk in groups of 10 or 20, all marching in unison. Starship captains haggle with merchants over trade goods and jobs. Flashes of light come from various landing bays as welders make repairs. When you find James, he's standing out by a window looking out at the city, watching the starships taking off and landing in a continuous stream. This is it, he says, where a race began. The world that all the tourists want to visit and that no one wants to live on. 10 billion people, more industry and exports than any other place in the galaxy, but underneath it all, poverty of a completely different sort from what you've got in the dirt belt. So it's like Coruscant from Star Wars. After taking one last glance out the window, he says, anyway, we're nearing my destination. Are you willing to take me on one last trip? Need to get to Hestia in the Telida system, and of course I'll pay you quite well to take me there, of course. Once again, you walk back to your ship with James. Once you get there, as he's stowing his luggage, you pull up information on your computer has on Hestia. It's one of the paradise worlds, terraformed to have a perfect climate, accessible only to the very wealthy. You wonder whether James is going to fit in there. You know, oh, I already bought a map. I'm thinking clothing would be pretty good there. Well, actually, it'd be luxury goods, but I'm going to buy clothing. Now, this is an uninhabited place. Most uninhabited places you can't land on. I think there's one right down here towards the rim. But it's got a planet history, and you do land on it in one of the campaign missions. This is Pollux. I'm gonna land on Thrall because it's got an outfitter and I want a map. Warm, moderate climate. Yeah, this is a paradise world like what we saw before. Just get an instinct of clicking on the spaceport. You'll find something interesting sometimes. Now I'm going to make that one last jump. And I think this is the last time you'll ever see James. It's got an outfitter. As you are piloting your ship down to land on Hestia, James disappears into his bunker. After the ship has landed, he comes out, no longer in grease-stained coveralls he's been wearing up until now, but in a suit. As a lifelong textile worker, you automatically note that the suit is made of real wool, very finely woven, and that it has been tailored to fit him. He smooths down the front of the suit distractedly, then looks at his hands as if unsure where to put them. How do I look? Like a millionaire. Well, that's the other thing about being a captain. You can get filthy rich. There's an awkward pause. You're unsure of how to respond. Then he says, thing is, this here planet is one of the most exclusive retirement communities in the galaxy. Plenty of the locals are probably worth more than 1 billion credits, but they're mostly financial or business types, or old money. I'm rich enough to be here, but I just hope they're willing to socialize with someone who made his fortune flying a ship. Before he goes, is there anything else you'd like to ask me about being a pilot? Now this is where you will learn much more about the game if you were so inclined. I already know a lot about the game. If you want to read up on it, just go ahead and play the game. It's completely free. I think I'll manage. He hands you a credit chip worth 30,000 credits. Best of luck to you, Captain. Don't hesitate to look me up if you're ever in the area, and remember to check the spaceports wherever you land. You never know who you'll find wandering around there. 3013. It's like Futurama. Yeah, not much you can get much more information out of these guys, and I think eventually you'll get a job if you click on this, although it's very unlikely. Don't really have much in the way of paying off my loan, so I'm going to take a few jobs after I get rid of my stuff. A profit of 29. It's not much of a profit, but it's a profit. Alright. Delivery to... That's 14,000 credits, not really worth it, especially since it's a little farther than I want. Art delivery to Calda. Ooh, 7,000? That's like not even anything. Charity goods to Sundive. The fine citizens of Hestia seek a compassionate captain for a mission of mercy to donate 15 tons of high-performance automobiles to the naive and culturally underexposed souls of Sundive and the Sheraton system. Payment is 16,000 credits. Oh, wow. Looks like they've got a stick up their ass. Passenger transport to Helheim. Transport... Okay, these two are in the same vicinity of each other, so I'm gonna take them. And then Hayes is right there. It's on the way. Buy map. Then I'm gonna do those, and then I'm gonna end the episode there. Ooh, wait. But if I have any... Yeah, I'm gonna buy some metal. Was it heavier? I think it was just regular metal. No, it wasn't. It was heavy metals. Oh, hey, I made a profit. These items do move. It's like the stock market. Except you're probably more likely to make money off of this. It's not as gambling as what the real stock market is. Oh, to speed up time, you press caps lock. Alright, I'm gonna land on this little planet. I think the stars are modded too to make them look better. 14,000. This has a shipyard. This is where you can see different ships. You've probably seen some of these as we play. These are transport ships. This one's not really much of a transport. It's more of an exploration ship. It's cheap. This one's probably more what you like. These are like warships if you are into that. I'm not really good at the combat in the game, so I usually just have a fleet of them. You can have more than one ship, although ships are quite expensive. I recommend getting a lot of money. This is a mess of a ship. Pretty good, I guess. It's got a lot of cargo, a lot of passenger space, I think. Yeah, 170 crew capacity. It's got a required crew. Something you probably don't know. A required crew. You need somebody else to help you pilot this. And crew salaries exist. And that's a fighter. You can't really jump in that. They're supposed to be have a parent ship, so to speak. Now look at the spaceport, nothing new. Depart. Forgot to buy a map, but that's okay. Not much else. Now you might recognize some of these names of the planets, like... Oh, well, that's not a good example. Yeah, Nifl. These are Norse planets. Or Norse-named planets, which I thought was pretty cool when I first played this game. Valhalla, see, there it is. This one's got a shipyard. Yep, family good luck. Valhalla was the first world to be settled in this region of space. Yeah. Oh, this is a heavy shuttle. Probably one you want to upgrade if you've got a shuttle, but I usually don't. Star barge, some interceptors, or what I like to call fighters. And these are just regular fighters. There's more warships. Same thing as before. I'm gonna get a map. Ooh. I think these two are modern weapons. I haven't seen them before. A rail rifle. 1.4 capture attack, and this one's 0.6. And this one's more of a defense. Same with security station. These are only if you board ships or if you're being boarded. Pretty cool, I think. I think that's a modded item. A ram scoop. Something you might want if you have a ship that's going to be traveling really far where there's not a whole lot of colonized worlds. Like outside of the galaxy, which is a place you can actually go to, although you need something that isn't a hyperdrive. There's different types of hyperdrives, well, so to speak. There's a scram drive, and I can't remember what the other one's called. The other one's the more fun one, though. They do take more fuel, though, so that's why Ram Scoop is pretty cool. But I'm going to buy a fuel pod. It has an outfit space of 8. Yes. Your ship needs outfit space. So you have cargo space where you can store cargo, bunks, fuel capacity is 400. I just say 4. Outfit space free, 8 of 120. That means I can fit something 8. So if I sell this, which is an outfit space of 15, I can probably fit that. But I'm not going to. So I'm going to buy this. Gives me a little extra fuel. Then I'm going to go to Helheim, which is probably the ice planet, if I remember correctly. I'm probably wrong. Oh, sweet, I'm right. Oh no, I'm wrong. Alright, well, I'm gonna end that episode here. If you like the game, please join. I'm probably gonna make more episodes of this, although they won't be as in-depth as this episode. It's probably gonna be a lot of editing, a lot of cuts to special events, and just certain things that I find interesting that I think you guys will like. Pretty sure that's it. See you later.